Before satellites and quantum physics, our ancestors, the Rishis, sat under starlit skies, not just watching the heavens, but understanding them. What they saw, they wrote, in the hymns of the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Puranas. Welcome to 10 ancient Hindu predictions that came true, where ancient wisdom meets modern wonder. In most ancient cultures, time was linear. It began once and moved toward an end. But in Hindu cosmology, time isn't a straight line. It's cyclical, endless, recurring, infinite. The Vishnu Purana and Bhagavata Purana describe the universe lasting for billions of years in each cycle of creation and destruction. One day of Brahma is said to last 432 billion years. Compare that with what modern astrophysics says. The Earth itself is around 4.5 billion years old. Coincidence? Or insight? The ancients didn't guess numbers. They observed rhythms, the rise and fall of stars, the waxing and waning of ages. They knew creation isn't a one-time event. It's a cosmic breathing, a universe exhaling and inhaling again. Modern physicists now talk about the oscillating universe theory, where the universe expands and contracts infinitely, a scientific echo of Brahma's endless days and nights. Imagine this. Nearly 2,000 years ago, an Indian astronomer looked at the sky and declared, "The Earth is a sphere suspended in space. It rotates on its own axis. It moves around the sun." That's the Surya Siddhanta, an ancient Sanskrit treatise on astronomy. It states clearly, the Earth is circular, all its sides are equally extended, and it stands supported in space. It even calculates the sidereal year as 365.25636 days, a number identical to NASA's calculation today. Surya Siddhanta even mentions the Earth's axial tilt and the reason for seasons, facts only rediscovered by Copernicus and Galileo in the West over 1,000 years later. How could sages without telescopes know this? Because they observed the heavens not just with eyes, but with extraordinary patience, geometry, and spiritual intuition. Long before atoms were named by Democritus in Greece, India had Sage Kanad, founder of the Vaisheshika school of philosophy. He declared that all matter is made of tiny indivisible particles called anu, atoms, and within them are even smaller particles, paramanu, too small to see. Kanad's texts discuss motion, fusion, separation, and transformation, the very principles of atomic behavior. He even describes that energy and matter constantly interchange, much like Einstein's EMMC2 thousands of years later. When modern scientists split the atom, they called it a revolution. But ancient India had already conceived of an invisible universe, made of countless whirling points of light. The 10 avatars of Vishnu are more than divine tales. They're a timeline of life itself. Matsya, the fish, life begins in water. Kurma, the tortoise, amphibious life emerges. Varaha, the boar, mammals arise on land. Narasimha, half man, half beast, the bridge between animals and humans. Vamana, the dwarf, the first primitive man. Parashurama, man mastering weapons. Rama, man mastering morality. Krishna, man mastering wisdom. Kalki, the future, evolved consciousness. This progression eerily mirrors Darwin's theory of evolution, written over 2,000 years later. What modern biology calls natural evolution, Hinduism had already encoded symbolically, as the divine unfolding of life through Vishnu's avatars. According to the Bhagavata Purana, there isn't one universe. There are countless. Each universe has its own Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, its own laws, its own lifespan. It says, there are innumerable universes beyond this one, each greater or smaller than the other. The Lord expands himself in all of them. Centuries later, quantum physics speaks of parallel universes, the multiverse theory. Different realities existing side by side, invisible yet real. What modern science calls string theory, the ancients called Brahmanda, the cosmic egg, where universes float like bubbles in an infinite cosmic ocean. In the Rig Veda, over 3,000 years ago, a hymn describes the path of water. The sun draws the waters, they pour down as rain, they flow in rivers, and return again to the sea. This poetic verse perfectly explains the water cycle: evaporation, condensation, rainfall, and collection. Something Western science formalized only in the 17th century. Even Atharva Veda details how clouds form and lightning appears from atmospheric friction. They observed nature so deeply that science and spirituality became one language, a hymn to understanding. In ancient Ujjain, Indian mathematicians like Aryabhata and Varahamihira developed trigonometric functions, sine, cosine, tangent, to map planetary motions. But even before them, Surya Siddhanta provided sine tables accurate to the 6th decimal. It measured planetary diameters, orbital speeds, and even time differences across the globe. The text calculated the diameter of Earth, Moon, and even Mercury with astonishing accuracy, within 1% of modern NASA data. The idea of dividing a circle into 360 degrees, the concept of zero, the decimal system, all of it has roots in ancient India. Mathematics for the ancients wasn't just numbers, it was a sacred code of the cosmos. In the Upanishads, a profound idea emerges. The observer and the observed are one. The text calls this Drishti Srishti Vada. The world exists because it is seen. Reality manifests through consciousness. Thousands of years later, quantum physics discovered something eerily similar, the observer effect, where observation itself changes the behavior of particles. For ancient Hindus, this wasn't just philosophy. It was a reminder: the universe responds to awareness. The mind doesn't sit outside reality, it shapes it. The Vishnu Purana and Bhagavata Purana speak of a time when truth will decline, greed and anger will rise, people will value wealth over wisdom, and human lifespan will shorten drastically. They call it the Kali Yuga, the dark age of spiritual ignorance. Look around: fast technology, restless minds, moral confusion. Many believe these verses are eerily prophetic of our present era. But even in darkness, the texts give hope, for Kali Yuga too shall pass, and the cycle of Dharma will rise again. In ancient India, medicine wasn't superstition. It was Ayurveda, a complete medical science. The Sushruta Samhita, written over 2,500 years ago, details over 300 surgical procedures and 120 surgical instruments. It describes plastic surgery, cataract removal, C-sections, and even bone reconstruction. Sushruta performed dissections to study anatomy and emphasized hygiene, diet, and mental health. When Europe was still debating disease as divine punishment, Ayurveda was already discussing the balance of body, mind, and spirit. So, what does all this mean? Were these coincidences, or the insights of a civilization so tuned to nature that they saw what we rediscovered millennia later? Hinduism doesn't claim science. It celebrates truth. It never said, believe blindly. It said, experiment, observe, experience. The Rishis didn't predict the universe. They understood it.